MarkMazuma TV back in the building with another video. What's going on, y'all? Shout out to the nation. Shout out to the mob. We back in the building, of course, man. Back at y'all with another video. This is something that I had to speak on. You know what I mean? I'm on my break right now, just kicking it, walking around the city, all that good shit. What I want to talk about is the little exchange that Terence Crawford and Oscar De La Hoya just had not too long ago, man. I didn't get to check it out while it was going on live, but I just seen the back and forth that Fight Hype had posted. And it was basically about Showtime shutting down, and it was a sad day for boxing, whatever. Oscar De La Hoya comes out with a tweet and says that it's unfortunate that, Showtime closed down. Hopefully we could stop this in the future by having the promoters set their beefs aside and come together to make the best fights happen. That shit sound good, right? So then Terence Crawford replies to Oscar De La Hoya and says, respectfully, this isn't gonna happen if y'all don't bring the fighters to the table with y'all. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that Terence Crawford has been vocal about for a little while now. Even right around the time, right a little bit before he had left Top Rank, he was saying how fighters are the ones who have the power at the end of the day because they're the ones who fight, and that they have the ultimate say-so at the end of the day. And we need to flip the narrative that fighters work for the promoters when the promoters actually work for the fighter, which I totally agree with 100%, right? So he responds to De La Hoya, says that nothing's going to change unless the fighters are at the table with the business guys. Oscar De La Hoya comes around, replies to that, and says, respectfully, I disagree. I think that fighters should hire. Pay attention to the word choice Oscar De La Hoya uses, because Oscar is naturally a passive aggressive guy. Even when he was that nice guy coming up as a fighter and shit like that, he was always a passive aggressive dude. You can see right through the fake shit. You know what I mean? He says that fighters need actual smart and competent businessmen to back them and make sure they have their best interests and make sure they can make the best deals possible for them. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. I don't have that shit word for word in my brain, but he says something along those lines. You know what I mean? And then, so he pretty much said fighters shouldn't be at the table. They should have businessmen to take care of their business for them, and they should worry about their careers, which is a small window. I see what Oscar De La Hoya is trying to say, but the problem behind Oscar De La Hoya's response is that he's alluded to the fact that fighters cannot be their own businessmen and they're not able to think for themselves, that they're incompetent and they're not able to conduct business in a way that could benefit their careers, which I totally disagree with. And I think is actually extremely hypocritical on Oscar De La Hoya's part, considering the fact that, as far as I'm concerned, Oscar De La Hoya was never somebody who went to Harvard and got his business degree. He didn't come into the boxing world as a businessman. He started off like a fighter, just like Terence Crawford did. And then he started Golden Boy Promotions. You know what I'm saying? So if you're capable of doing so, and you believe you're competent and this smart businessman who has the best interest to their fighters, why isn't Terence Crawford capable of doing so? If you're so capable, why is he incapable? You know what I'm saying? Why are other fighters incapable, but you're so capable? You know what I mean? It shows like a level of arrogance on Oscar De La Hoya's part. Damn. That shows a level of arrogance on Oscar De La Hoya's part, man. It goes to show you what he actually thinks of fighters. And it just proves what Canelo Alvarez was saying in these interviews, saying that Oscar De La Hoya is a hypocrite and that his main objective is to keep fighters hungry so they could keep fighting. He's not there for the best interest of the fighter. He's in there for the best interest of his pockets and what he's capable of generating. You know what I mean? He's a slimy businessman, just like a lot of these boxing dudes are. You know what I mean? So I feel like Oscar De La Hoya is extremely hypocritical for that statement. You started off as a fighter. You didn't come up as a businessman like Al Heyman, Bob Arum, who was a lawyer and all that good stuff. You came up as a pugilist and you didn't have nothing else going for yourself until, you hit it big in boxing. And then off of boxing, you was capable of going into the promotional role and becoming the promoter that you are today. You know what I mean? So I feel like that was extremely disrespectful on Oscar's part. I see what he was saying about having competent businessmen there, but I also feel like fighters should be at the table as well. Why can't both be true? Why can't you have the fighter who's actually the one generating the revenue, the one that's actually making the fights happen, the one that this business isn't possible without the fighter, so why shouldn't he be there? You know what I mean? Why can't he put his input on the situation? Why can't he offer some ideas to the table? You know what I mean? If he's the one that's actually putting shit if he's the one who's actually creating motion in the whole situation, why can't he have a say on what goes on at the table? Or why can't he have a voice at the table? You pretty much telling him to shut up and dribble, like they told LeBron, shut up and dribble. You pretty much telling him to shut up and box. You trying to marginalize a fighter, and that's something that you didn't accept in your career. So I don't see why you feel like everybody that's a fighter now should just fall in line with what you say. You know what I mean? It's absolutely hypocritical. I don't support Oscar De La Hoya. You know what I mean? I don't support his words at all. I don't feel nothing he really talking about. But then again, this is Oscar De La Hoya at the end of the day. Can we expect much more out of the dude? You know what I mean? Considering his history and all that he's done, it's like, can you really expect any more from Oscar than for him to say some shit like that? You know what I mean? That's my whole point with the situation, man. I'm backing Terence Crawford 100%. I do agree that there should be some type of businessman there to be there for the fighter's best interest in case a fighter slips up in a certain aspect. But for the most part, fighters need to be at the table because they're the ones who make shit happen at the end of the day. That's my opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. This is Mazuma TV. Shout out to the nation. Shout out to the mob. I'm out of here, man. Peace.